We shall begin now. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyananjanashalankaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanyamanobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम् परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्. So we are discussing on the 10th verse. Anyadevahur vidyaya nyadahur avidyaya iti shushruma dhirana yena stadvichachakshire. The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge, and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience. So, this verse, the last verse we saw that those who are in ignorance, they remain in the darkest region in this existence, and those who, which is basically they remain in the material existence, and those who um, have false knowledge or misguide others, or um, yeah, uh, they attain even a darker destination in the next life. And here it is like um, we will discuss about what is true knowledge, how do we gain the real knowledge, the process of gaining the real knowledge, what is nascence or what is ignorance, whom to receive the real knowledge from, and the benefit of that real knowledge. These are some of the topics that are covered in this verse. Um, Begins with Srila Prabhupada in 13th chapter describes how do we culture knowledge. We will see later on Srila Prabhupada also says that knowledge is not culture through universities or through um, like what all is going on in this world, but how the knowledge is actually gained, attained Um, One, it is done in the following way, and there are 18 um, um, points mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that Srila Prabhupada describes here. What is the process of gaining knowledge? One should become a perfect gentleman and learn to give proper respect to others. See, our understanding of gaining knowledge is we read books and we gain knowledge. But we see how Krishna describes the process of gaining knowledge is very different, because first of all, his knowledge is not gained from externals. Knowledge is gained from within. And when we act on these 18 points, then we will see knowledge will be revealed from within our hearts. So one is become a perfect gentleman, um, and learn to give proper respect to others. See, when we disrespect others, we block the mercy of Lord from within us. Then one should not pose himself as a religionist simply for name and fame. We should not show ourselves. Um, I remember one quote of Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. He mentioned, we will be able to access deeper realizations or deeper truths in our Krishna consciousness when we when the urge to show who we are to others, when that urge goes away. um, One should not pose himself. In fact, he was mentioning that one should hide one's real life. One should hide one's inner truth, um, or deeper subject matters within one's heart. Then one will be able to access them more and more. Something like that. We see how Srila Prabhupada, I mean, it is not like we are not preaching or sharing, um, like Srila Prabhupada is extensively preaching, or our spiritual masters are very wonderfully preaching, sharing their realizations. But these are more like the jewels of more uh, their uh, uh, personal relationship with Krishna, or they don't say things like, I have this absorption for Krishna, or um, I have such attachment to the holy name, or they don't show their um, directly, they don't speak, although it is very much visible in their activities. When we see them, how they are chanting, how they are speaking, how they are, we can see how absorbed they are, but they never accept, they don't show, or to the, yeah, something like that. So one should not pose himself or herself as a religionist simply for name and fame. um, when we try to get some material benefit, some name and fame, some material benefit from our um, Krishna consciousness, that state of conscious, that then we won't be able to remain absorbed for long. One should not become a source of anxiety to others by the action of his body, by the thoughts of his mind, or by his words. Don't speak words that may put others in anxiety, or that may disrespect somebody, or that may hurt somebody. Don't show by your actions, by your, either the way we look, or uh, our facial expression. These are like actions by the body. Don't don't disrespect other, don't put other in anxiety. Um, and even by the thoughts of our mind. Um, in fact, whenever we have any detrimental thought for a devotee, we should immediately, one devotee said, when we think something bad about a Vaishnava, immediately bow down physically. Even if you are alone, immediately bow down, and um, pray to Guru and Krishna, pray to the Lord in your heart that why this thought is coming, my Lord, please remove. Um, in fact, in one, somewhere I heard When we don't, usually what happens, the negative thoughts, how much negative thoughts we have in our mind is directly related to our chanting. Um, we will see when, generally speaking, when we are absorbed in our holy name, all the good qualities will develop from that. Gratitude will come. All positive thoughts will come, and we really want to hold on to it, our absorption in Krishna. We want to protect our consciousness. It's a positive loop. We want to do everything possible to maintain it. But then once we go in a loop of when our chanting is not good, then the mind becomes disturbed. When mind is disturbed, then all these negative thoughts will come. At that point of time, it's best to learn to tolerate, to offer prayers. We can go in front of our God Nitai deities, or we have Giriraj. My Lord, my mind is not giving positive thoughts. Please help me, so my mind may become peaceful in a way, so that I can do that, make the right decision. Um, so in our mind, also we should not have thoughts that will be a source of anxiety for others, or disrespect for others, or critical of others. These are the ways by which the knowledge will be revealed, the realizations that, yeah, those will be given to us by Lord Krishna from within our heart. Then one should learn forbearance even in the face of provocation from others. This is little tough, but this is very important. Is material world is designed in a way that many things may go wrong. Um, Learn forbearance when there is provocation, because if we act, um, and if we don't tolerate, then we will do something by our action, by our body, by our words. We will do something that will put somebody in anxiety, or we will act in a way, and then again that may not be very conducive for our spiritual life, at least for the time being. One should learn to avoid duplicity in his dealings with others. These are all like very uh, um, duplicitous is lying is duplicity. Um, um, when what we say and what we do don't match, that is duplicity. Learn to avoid duplicity in his dealings with others. It is also mentioned that if we are not honest, then we will lose others' trust. Honesty is like opposite duplicity. When we are not honest, uh, we won't others won't trust us if we are not honest. One should search for a bona fide spiritual master, and one must submit himself to such a spiritual master. By the mercy of Krishna, one gets guru, and then one must submit oneself to one's guru. In order to approach the platform of self realization, one should follow the regulative principles enjoined in the revealed scriptures. Follow the regulative principles sincerely in order to approach the platform of self realization. It is said that when we break regulative principles, it is displeasing to the Lord. Um, um, that's another, like, one in, yeah, the mind becomes disturbed. Some sinful reactions accrue from that. Yeah. So one must follow. In one lecture I heard, if we break regulative principles, we disconnect ourselves from Krishna, or from Krishna's mercy, at least for some time. Mind becomes disturbed. One must be fixed in the tenets of revealed scriptures. Do as Shastra says, or as Guru says. One should completely refrain from practices which are detrimental to the interest of self realization. Maybe we are not breaking regulative principles, but maybe I am doing something which is a distraction, um, which takes my consciousness away from Krishna, which is detrimental to my real self interest. Um, then one should completely refrain. Why? All these things are, when we say one must do this and one must not do this, all these things, mm, when we say one must not do this, um, yeah, basically to maintain our relationship with Krishna. It's one thing that we feel a connection. It's one thing to maintain our relationship, to keep that state of consciousness. And that's why these 18 things, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Prabhupada quotes here, that's how you gain knowledge. This is the culture of knowledge, not university. Prabhupada later on says, what is this university teachings? What knowledge they give us? People don't even respect one's own elders. What knowledge are we getting from? Um, this is These are the ways we acquire knowledge. One should not accept more than he requires for the maintenance of body. They are all very, very, very clear, blunt, straightforward, and sometimes difficult. One should not accept more than he requires for the maintenance of the body. Actually, body maintenance requires so minimal, but one thing. One should not falsely identify himself with the gross material body, nor should one consider those who are related to his body to be his own. One should not identify oneself with this gross material body. And don't think that those who are connected to this body are mine. They are mine. Those who are connected to this body. One should always remember that as long as he has a material body, he must face the miseries of repeated birth, old age, disease, and death. Having a body itself is a problem. As long as one should remember, as long as I am in this body, old age will be there, disease will be there, death will be there, birth will be there. One should not be attached to more more than the necessities of life required for spiritual advancement. Um, there is a word, being a minimalistic. Don't be attached to more than necessary. One should not be more attached to wife, children, and home than the revealed scriptures ordain. Means more attachment to Krishna and Shastras. One should not be happy or distressed over desirables and undesirables, knowing that such feelings are just created by the mind. Um, when some desirables are taken away, distress may be there. But one should know that these desirables, whatever is our definition of desirable, is a feeling created by the mind. Can be a foodstuff, can be a thing, can be a person, any object, it can be anything. Desirable and what is undesirable. These are the feelings just created by the mind. One should become an unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna and serve him with rapt attention. Um, One should develop a liking for residence in a secluded place with a calm and quiet atmosphere. Develop a liking for residence in a secluded place with calm and quiet atmosphere. We should have our own space in our own houses, which is calm and quiet atmosphere, secluded, and where one does one sadhana, one's reading, which is more in mode of goodness, that particular space. This is like in modern understanding of. One should develop a liking for residence in a secluded place with a calm and quiet atmosphere. Basically, where a space within your own home where you are inspired um, to read, where you can remain in mode of goodness, where you derive nourishment for yourself. So liking for residence in a secluded place. Otherwise, in general sense, it is forest area or caves or like saints go and remain in seclusion. Um, um, One should avoid congested places where non-devotees congregate. Don't associate or don't be very eager to um, 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 visit places or where there are many where non-devotees come together. Avoid such places. And the last one is one should become a scientist or philosopher and conduct research into spiritual knowledge, recognizing that spiritual knowledge is permanent, whereas material knowledge ends with the death of the body. Um, um, Either philosophically or conduct a research or think about it, contemplate, and recognize that how the material body is temporary and everything that is connected to this body is temporary. And recognizing that spiritual knowledge is permanent. My spiritual self is permanent. My relationship with Krishna is permanent, and what is external is temporary and end with the death of the body. So these are the 18 ways to culture knowledge, as per Gita. Um, these 18 items combine to form a gradual process by which real knowledge can be developed. Even by reading, reading even like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, even those books, without these 18 processes, we cannot understand. Um, we will read and it won't sink in what we are reading. It won't convert into realizations, what we are reading. um, there is a line like reading between the lines. Like when we read Shastra, the ability to read between the lines means what is not written, you're able to get a glimpse of it, understand. When we follow this 18 process of knowledge, then we can understand. Except for these, all other methods are considered to be in the category of nescience. And these are the 18 processes. Except for these, everything is considered ignorance. Leads all other, the remaining leads to ignorance. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a great Acharya, maintained that all forms of material knowledge are merely external features of the illusory energy, and that by culturing them one becomes no better than an ass. So material knowledge is whatever is taught in our schools and universities, and whatever experience we learn from various dealings with this world. Of course, we need to work to maintain ourselves. But otherwise, all form of material knowledge are external features of the illusory energy, um, because produced by it all deals with matter, doesn't deal with the soul and Krishna and the holy name. It deals with matter, physicals, um, which is made up of, everything is made up of illusory energy. Even the body is made up of illusory energy. So everything that we deal with is is a feature of illusory energy, and by culturing that kind of knowledge, one becomes no better than an ass. Means ass is like work very hard for not much benefit, na? So people in this world who are culturing knowledge through universities and schools and so many experiences are, they think they are getting a lot but not of much use in terms of escaping us from cycle of birth and death. So that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur compares them to no better than ass. The same principle is found here in Sri Isopanishad. Then Prabhupada speaks about the boys in the modern society. What is today's society, the generation, current generation? Um, in the modern society, like today's generation is, they're not focused on those 18 principles of knowledge, but they are like school, getting a good rank, getting a good university, good college. Um, so they are going through this whole process of um, so-called advancement, material advancement. Prabhupada says, in a modern society, even a boy thinks himself self-sufficient and pays no respect to elderly men. I can do. I don't need elder people to guide me. Um, Due to the wrong type, I was, our dear, one of our dear devotee Himangari Prabhu was giving a Sunday feast class. I like one point he said. He said, what I really missed when I came to the West was um, um, guidance from the elders. That's like great culture actually. Guidance from the elders. When we come to US, we miss that. He said his grandfather used to teach him about the importance of Tulasi, the names of Tulasi, importance of devotion. But when he came to the West, he found himself all alone and no such guidance, wisdom from the elders. Um, but today's modern day society, the boys think, we are self sufficient, we don't need, and they don't pay respect to elderly men. The culture is gone. So, is it really knowledge is not how much we can debate on material education? Knowledge is character, actually. So what is the knowledge? So Prabhupada says they are only culturing nascence, only culturing ignorance. Isopanishad is like thousands of years old. Um, these are the words spoken by the Lord. This is a Shruti Shastra, directly the words of the Lord. And it says, okay, there is, if you culture knowledge, which is through these 18 processes, one result is obtained, which is advancement and realization. You actually understand yourself. You actually understand this word. You actually understand the all pervading one, the Supreme Lord. You understand this is knowledge, and others are culturing knowledge. Culturing means, yeah, this is the process that you understand. Actually, real knowledge comes. Otherwise, you're simply culturing nascence or ignorance. Due to the wrong type of education being imparted in our universities, boys all over the world are giving their elders headaches. Prabhupada says, what are current generation? They are simply becoming the cause of headaches for their elders. Thus, Sri Ishopanishad very strongly warns the culture of nescience is different from that of knowledge. Cultivate knowledge. The universities are, so to speak, centers of nescience only. Prabhupada says, this is a professor. This is, he is a master, he is a PhD, he's a postdoc. What is he? Prabhupada says, simply ignorant. That's all. They are the centers of nescience only. This is a place where ignorance is provided. That is the place where you culture ignorance in your character. That's what people are going for. So the universities are, so to speak, centers of nescience only. University students today are not given instructions in the regulative principles of brahmacharya, celibate student life. Actually, if you see in our ancient tradition, first 25 years brahmacharya. This is like the time they culture knowledge and they follow the regulative principles. They practice these 18 principles, and they hear from a self-realized soul. They live in the ashram of guru, practice the regulative principles, read the Shastra, follow these. So this is like a training, a brahmacharya training. That's what first 25 years is meant for. Um, um, but what is the university today? Students today learning a lot, but then no culture. They're not given instruction in brahmacharya, celibacy. National, then further on how the ignorance is being cultured. We discussed about how the knowledge is cultured. What is real knowledge? And now we are discussing about how ignorance is cultured in this modern day, how it is cultured. Nationalism has developed in different parts of the world due to cultivation of nations by the general people. Why? This is my nation. That itself is nation. Sir, who are you, first of all? You're telling this is my nation. You are not this body, and this place is not yours. We are not like Indian, American, Chinese, European, Hispanic, black. This is my nation, this is my nation, my nation. Everything, the base is complete ignorance actually. That's like nationalism has developed in different parts of the world due to cultivation of nations by the general people. No one considers that this tiny earth is just a lump of matter floating in immeasurable space along with many other lumps. So Prabhupada says if you see in a space, unlimited billions of lumps of matter like earth. We are the space just in this universe. Earth is like super, super, super tiny. Much, much bigger planets and unlimited of them are there. So this is actually a reality of the size of this Earth. So Prabhupada says nobody consider Earth as a tiny lump of matter. Um, in this immeasurable, huge space. And the earth is with many other lumps is a small. Prabhupada is like a particle of dust emits unlimited particles of dust. That is the nature of earth. But nobody understands, nobody cultures that. Nobody considers earth like that. Because God has kindly made these lumps of matter complete in themselves, they are perfectly equipped with all necessities for floating in space. So Prabhupada says, yes, there is also the first verse of Isopanishad says, everything that comes from the Lord is complete. This universe is also complete. These planets are also complete in a way. So everyone is very self-satisfied. There is food to eat. One can have a nice house. One can sleep. One can work. One can, it's like in a way one finds all one's needs are there. Water is there. Air is there. Um, Whatever is needed, the earth itself, the sun rays are coming in the earth on the earth. So in a way, now the earth is like whatever is required for sustenance, like provided. Um, so God has kindly made these lumps of matter complete in themselves. Um, uh, Befooled men have created their own nations. So this is like no culturing nations. How one is becoming too self-absorbed in one's own little activities and life, and the life goes on and passed on in that way, and the soul leaves the body, and there is another um, millions of species that the soul enters. One is not able to cultivate that knowledge and become uh, too absorbed in university teachings and schools, and real knowledge is not there. Befooled men have created their own nations within these planets in order to grasp sense enjoyment more effectively for these few years. So, what are the fools are doing? This is one small lump of earth. In that one small lump of earth, people have created their own nations. That we see in the Vedic culture previously, there was one king for the entire earth. It was very, very common. And now there are so many presidents and prime ministers of different within one lump of earth also. Befooled men have created so many nations. And what do they do with these nations? All these nations are made within this small lump of earth. Yet, for this purpose, each and every nation has become a source of anxiety for others, and all of them are like some of them make allies with somebody else and go against some other, and they one nation is becoming the source of anxiety for others, and more than 50% of nations' energy is devoted to defense measures and thus spoiled. And in this small lump of earth, fools have made all these nations. They make their own nuclear weapons. They spend 50% of their resources in this defense, and they try to protect each other. And why? Because they all want their own kshetra of sense gratification instead of one earth all. So everybody wants their own. They are here for a little bit of few years, and they all want for greater sense gratification. They have made their own kshetras, and they want to enjoy in their own kshetras. So this is how in a mass production ignorance is being cultivated. So then comes
Prabhuji,
now,
I have a question. Is there time for that, or should I save for later?
maybe at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Kirande. Okay, so now how do we so this is the current society. So how do we gain knowledge? We saw these are the 18 processes by which the knowledge is gained. Now okay, these 18 processes are there. Along with that, the knowledge is gained through a dhira. This mantra states that the instructions of Vidya, knowledge, must be acquired from a dhira. Not just I am gentle, I am kind. These things are there, but one one has a one acquires the knowledge from a dhira. Who is a dhira? Who is a dhira? A dhira is one who is not disturbed by material illusion. A dhira is one who is self-realized. A dhira is one who is in knowledge. A dhira is one who is not attached or disturbed, or he is beyond this existence, uh, who has realized the knowledge. Um, that person, from that person, one should take the instructions of knowledge. No one can be disturbed unless he is perfectly spiritually realized, at which time one neither hankers nor laments for anything. People in this world, they're hankering for something, or something they're not able to get, they're lamenting for what they don't have. They lost something, they're lamenting over what they have lost. They want something, they're hankering for what they want, and they're lamenting for what they don't have, or what is taken away from them. So a self, unless when one is through these phases of hankering and lamentation, don't take knowledge from them. um, no one can be undisturbed, even if they show themselves that they're not disturbed. It's all fake, actually. No one can be undisturbed unless he's perfectly spiritually realized, at which time one neither hankers nor laments for anything. Adhira realizes that the material body and mind he has acquired by chance through material association are but foreign elements. Therefore, he simply makes the best use of a bad bargain. Okay, the Dhira realizes this body is foreign to me, this mind is foreign to me, and somehow based on um, whatever past, I have got this body and mind. Now I have got this. So now this is like a bad bargain. This is like a, now, unfortunate that I'm in this material body with a material mind. So now let me use this body and mind. This is like best use of a bad bargain. Use my body and mind to cultivate self-realization now. So that's a dhira. He realizes that um, some material association, um, because of some past association, I have got this body and mind, which are but foreign elements. I am not them. It's like I have acquired them. Now let me make the best use of this bad bargain. Bad bargain. The living entity has actual functions in the living spiritual world, but this material world is dead. It is everything in this material world is lump of matter. So by the nature of this material world, the whole material world is dead. Actually, it is only the living entities who who transforms the matter. It looks like the matter is moving, all because of the presence of the souls, the living entity. Otherwise, by default, the material world is dead. The living entity has actual functions in the living spiritual world. Our actual requirement, our actual function is there in the spiritual world, but we are somehow trying to function in this dead world in one way or the another. As long as the living spiritual sparks manipulate the dead lumps of matter, the dead world appears to be a living world. But when we are dealing with all this dead matter, it looks like everything is full of life in this dead world, but everything it is dead. The Dhiras have come to know all these facts by hearing from superior authorities. And one of the quality of Dhira is they have heard from other superior Dhiras. They have heard from other Dhiras. They have realized this knowledge by following the regulative principles. Um, without uh, without following the, it is said that till the time we become detached, we don't see the value in it. So when we ourselves are, when we are not able to follow regulative principles, these they have heard from Dhira and they follow the regulative principles. That's how they have come to realize themselves. So from them we should acquire knowledge. Then how do we ourselves become a Dhira? The transcendental message and the regulative principles come down from the spiritual master to the disciple. We receive from our spiritual master what not to do. We receive from self-realized souls. what they are telling to avoid. They are giving us the real vision to see the world, a realized vision they are showing. They are giving that to us, and they are giving like Krishna consciousness. That is a transcendental message. Yet eternal life. Um, they are giving us that, and they are telling us the regulative principles. That is coming down from the spiritual master to the disciple. One can become dhira only by submissively hearing from a bona fide spiritual master. We hear from what they are saying, we practice what they are saying, and then we become dhira. Arjuna is an example. He became a dhira by submissively hearing from Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead himself. Arjuna was very disturbed. Gandiva bow was slipping, crying, tears are coming from his eyes, shaking, his teeth were shattering, shivering. He became a adhira. But then he heard from personality of God. He abide by what Lord Krishna spoke, and he became a dhira. Karishe vachadam tava. Krishna, I will do whatever you say. Thus, the perfect disciple must be like Arjuna, and the spiritual master must be as good as the Lord himself. Or as good as means one who exhibit the qualities of the Lord, or one who is a pure devotee of the Lord. Guru should be Uttamadhikari. Guru should be self-realized. Guru should be dhira, and disciple should be submissive. The disciple can ask question, but the disciple is surrendering to the instructions of Guru. So perfect disciple like Arjuna and Guru is like Krishna. This is the process of learning Vidya from a Dhira. That's how Arjuna became a Dhira. Likewise, how we can also become a Dhira by practicing. Um, um, an Adhira, an Adhira I think this is the last one. I think Adhira, who has who has not undergone the training of Adhira cannot be an instructive leader. Adhira cannot be a leader. Modern politicians who pose themselves as dhiras are actually adhiras. Um, they may show that they are not disturbed, but they may act, but doesn't matter. Inside, you will see here and there things will go tangential. They're actually adhiras. Unless one is a adhira, cannot be an instructive leader. Okay, so yes, that's all. Now we can take any questions if anyone has. That's on this verse.
Oh yeah, so I just have like a question.
Ah,
So you were saying about how the national, like the nationalism thing,
ah,
with the, almost like the kind of like the pride or like the feeling of my land, my
yeah,
thing, this.
yeah,
So I have a question about that. So this weekend I've been learning about the like way that Srila Prabhupada wanted in the Hare Krishna movement to teach about the four varnas, like varna ashram.
yeah,
So like can like in one sense I feel like there's the need for governments to protect humanity, like to protect community.
yeah,
On another hand, I feel like what you were talking about is like almost like the abuse of governments or like the corruption or the adharma of governments that has happened in the world. And I'm just wondering, is there room and space for dharmic government? Like, because on
yeah,
one level, like we don't want the ego to divide, but then another level, it's like we do need some of rules and regulations for society. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts about that.
yeah. Prabhupada said the leader should be dhira, self-realized souls. Prabhupada said devotees should be the leaders. Previously, we see there were Raja Rishis, Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj. Raja Rishi mean they are Raja, they are kings, rishi, but they are saintly kings. Krishna says this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is coming down to sun god, to Vivaswan. In this way, it was coming down through Saint Raj Rishis, Krishna says, through saintly kings. And when the king is saintly, then the entire nation is saintly. And if they were like uh, saintly king for the entire earth, even if the earth is divided into various nations, if they are all devotees of the Lord, then there will be unity among themselves. Then there will be no need to spend so much on defense, um, all this anxiety for others. All this is coming because people are themselves adhiras. When adhiras rule, then all these things, fear will trigger, and then so much will go on.
Yeah, that's kind of what we had talked about too, like when the person is not having the focus of
Yeah,
protecting people from a sense of like devotional love for
yeah.
God, then
Mm.
everything becomes like a big mess.
And that's what Kali Yuga, previously it was not there. Maharaj Parikshit was the last ruler under whom everybody was a devotee and everybody was peaceful. Even it is said when Lord Krishna was there, it was like Satyuga and Dwapar Yuga. Nobody has envy towards each other. Everyone is self satisfied. Everyone's heart was filled with love. This is like a spiritual word that has descended. Um, Before Krishna was there, Mother Earth was struggling and suffering. When Krishna came, it became like a spiritual word and she was so peaceful. When Krishna left, then again Kali came and started breaking the last leg of dharma of Mother Earth, bull and cow when they are crying. So this is the degrading situation of this material existence. It's unavoidable. And Dharma knew, in a form of a bull, Dharma knew that this is gonna progress. So really we cannot stop Kali to progress.
So
This,
is there a way, because like I feel like maybe one of the reasons why Prabhupada was so adamant about teaching or trying to teach and implement Varna ashram was in order to like create
yeah,
a miniature version of like basically like a way
yeah,
that dharma can that leaders can still be dharmic in our own society.
yeah, yeah. So Varnashram Dharma, everyone is God conscious, everyone is satisfied in what they are doing. Um, um, Everyone is cooperating with each other. Um, there is a feeling of service among each other. They are all depending on each other. So it's like um, how in Satya Yoga and other higher yogas, how the life used to be like. So Prabhupada knew that everybody will not take Krishna consciousness because it is also mentioned, um, for somebody to take Krishna consciousness requires lot of background sukriti. Krishna says many lifetimes of sukriti they can accept. So not everybody will accept Krishna consciousness. Still, Prabhupada wanted a peaceful society, and that's why he recommended or he wanted to establish one ashram, dharma. So gradually, those who are not Krishna conscious can still live peacefully in a society which is God conscious, although they themselves. So in Varnashram Dharma, all people of all consciousness can be satisfied in their own activities and can cooperate, and slowly that Varnashram will bring to Krishna consciousness. Um, like one thought is coming in previous yugas, everybody. It was a very nicely established Varnashram Dharma. The cows were protected. There were some farmers. There were some leaders. Leaders were although Krishna conscious. Not everybody in the kingdom was Krishna conscious. Um, Even if Raja Rishis were Krishna, but everybody was still peaceful, and everyone was still growing in their spiritual development by some means or other. Does that give a vision, a feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Prabhupada said 50% of work is undone, which is to establish one ashram. He could spread Krishna consciousness, but he didn't have time to establish one ashram. It was the plan of the Lord.
So the woman who is teaching this course and like the career dharma and like that's what it's based around is that the principle of the varnashram. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
this it's amazing, Prabhu. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else has anything to add, share, ask? Okay. Okay. Thank you all for joining. My obeisances to all of you. Vanchakalpatarubhesha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.